Hi, dog mums. Welcome back to another episode of the Natural Dog Mum podcast. Today we're having a conversation with Kristie. She is an advanced canine nutritionist, and she has all sorts of amazing teas and products. She does nutritional consults through her brand Rawspirit Canine Nutrition, and we're going to be talking all things gut health and healthy goodness for your dogs. Welcome and thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Lovely. Now, I would love to hear a little bit about how you got started in the space and what made you want to get into canine nutrition.
Yeah, so it's really evolved over many years. I'm a Labrador breeder and have been for about 25 years now. And just feeding the normal things that we had to feed our puppies as breeders, different health issues came up, and I just didn't feel like we were nourishing our dogs properly. And it ended up being one of my chocolate Labradors, Tali, who ended up with cancer at the age of 9 after a vaccine. Completely normal before that, completely healthy, and it just came out of nowhere and no one could help me. I went to so many vets and it was right through her, and we just couldn't do anything about it. So I actually went to Kim Lim to do some alternative medicine. I had cancer when I was 17 as well, so I'd kind of always been looking alternatively at other things because I had chemotherapy, and that leaves you with deficits, I guess you could say. So yeah, I went to Kim Lim. She was incredible. She did acupuncture, she did Chinese medicine, and we spoke about diet. And I changed Tali to raw diet. And although we knew we weren't going to have her forever, we did have this time where she actually became a lot better and she really enjoyed her life, and we had this amazing opportunity to say goodbye in a really nice way. And that kind of was the turning point for me, and I transitioned all my dogs onto raw, so the whole breeding kennel, and we just noticed the most incredible changes almost immediately as well. We didn't have any ear infections. Labradors are prone to ear stuff.
Yes, they.
We didn't have any skin issues anymore. Yeah, we didn't have any skin issues, and our fertility just skyrocketed.
Interesting.
Litters of 13, it was crazy. So yeah, we just seen the benefits of feeding them all raw, and that just kind of continued until I thought I need to be qualified at what I'm doing. So I went and studied a couple of different courses and plant medicine, and that's how it all kind of just evolved over time. And then I started collaborating with the pet food shops, which kind of gave me the opportunity to get my products into shops and also start consults. So yeah, it's been a journey, but that's how I got here.
Lovely. So what sort of products are you selling at the stores at the moment? I know that you've got a balanced raw mix and you've got some other herbal products as well.
Yeah, so we make raw dog food for adults and puppies, completely balanced and exceeding AFCO standards. It has all the supplements kind of needed. There's kefir, there's veggies, there's fruit, there's hemp seeds, chia seeds, chlorella, spirulina. Like there's a lot of different supplements in there, so it's complete. And I also make supplements on the side as well. So I have an overall health for all ages, a puppy one, and also the seniors, where there's a bit of natural pain relief, but a lot of support for the joints, brain and skin and coat as well. And then I make teas as well. So there's teas for calming, there's teas for digestion, detox. Probably detox is probably the biggest thing that we need to do at the moment. And then I do a gut reset, which kind of really heals the gut and gets the microbiome firing on all cylinders again. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Lovely. So you're talking to customers in the stores. They've got multiple locations. So you've got your ear to the ground, so to speak, in terms of issues that are coming up for pet parents. Are there some common themes that you're noticing at the moment? Some common problems that people are struggling with?
Yeah, so yeast is the biggest thing. Seeing the dogs come in with skin problems is the biggest. Itchy dogs, ears, paws, eyes, everything that's related to yeast, which is the gut. So That's the thing that we have to work on the most. And I think that's the thing that I'm trying to educate the most, is that we need to have a healthy microbiome, healthy gut, so that we can support the whole body, because when that's not functioning, the symptoms that we see are actually the gut telling us that there are issues and that we need to heal that.
Absolutely. And the other thing I think a lot of people don't realise, the link, obviously, as you've said, between itchy skin and gut health, but like humans, 70% of their immune system lives inside the gut. So it's not just the ear infections and the itchy skin and those sorts of symptoms that you're seeing. If it's left untreated, it can lead to all sorts of disease and further problems.
Absolutely. Chronic inflammation is the biggest thing, and that, that comes from the gut. So people, we need to educate people that, if the gut has not been looked after, or you've got leaky gut happening for a long period of time, you're looking at arthritises, you're looking at other inflammatory, even hormonal issues like Cushing's, all that kind of stuff comes from an unhealthy gut.
So in terms of leaky gut, for the uninitiated, what are some of the most common causes? I know that a highly processed diet is a big contributor there.
Yeah, so definitely the highly processed foods are the major contributors, but also over vaccinating is having an issue. Anything where we're compromising the immune system. So it's also pesticides, depends on where you're walking your dogs, whether that's sprayed. There's a lot of environmental stuff as well. Dogs are walking that on their paws, and then they're licking their paws. So there's a lot of different kind of elements that are all contributing to this. And it's the same for humans. A lot of humans are going through the exact same thing. So chronic inflammation is a big issue in all areas.
Absolutely, especially when you look at the ingredients panel of your typical bag of processed food, something like a kibble. Sometimes the largest ingredients in the bag are grains and cereals, and they're huge contributors to inflammation in the body, aren't they?
Absolutely. Carbohydrates are the biggest issue, and grains and legumes. People say I've got grain-free, but the legumes are full of lectins, and they cause a lot of other issues. They kind of degrade the gut lining over time as well. So and it's not what they're meant to eat. If we talk about species appropriate, it's not grains, it's not fillers, it's primal food that they would have been eating out in the wild, and that's what we have to think about, and that's how their guts are made to actually digest food. So they have a short digestive system so that they can get this protein and fats in and get them out quickly. And that's something I think that we've all forgotten. We just think that processed food is the way to go. It's easy, I understand. Time is a big problem for a lot of people. But when we get back to nature and really teach people, or not teach, but show people that this is what they're supposed to eat, the transformation is really quick, and it's amazing. Like, people, you will ring me and say, oh my God, my dog's a different dog. Behaviour has changed. Their attitude towards food has changed. Their energy levels have changed. They're not itchy anymore. They just seem more happy. They're more connected to me. They don't seem to be in as much pain. So the benefits are just incredible.
Absolutely. So when you have a customer who's presenting with a dog with gut issues, or say leaky gut, obviously their day-to-day diet is the first thing that you're looking at. Are there other things that you recommend to help heal the damage that's done and help give them that protection that they need?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a couple of ways we go. The first one is healing the gut. So I make a product called Gut Reset, which realigns the gut and repopulates the gut as well. A lot of people will just try and transition from dry to raw, thinking that that's okay. But if you've got a leaky gut, the raw food isn't going to be digested and the nutrients aren't going to be absorbed. So you've still got the problem. So going back to fix the gut is the biggest one. L-glutamine is probably the key to healing a gut. And then once we've done that, we need to look at detoxing as well. So if we're talking about something like yeast actually gives off toxins when it dies off, which makes symptoms look 10 times worse. So we need to use binders which actually bind together with the toxins that the yeast are giving off, and then remove it with the detox. That's probably the only way that you're actually going to remove yeast, is to kill it off and then get it out with a detox, and then we get it to a balanced level. You're never going to kill it off completely. That's kind of impossible. But we need it to be a happy balance where it's all balanced in the gut. The microbiome is functioning really well, and that's how we heal the yeast. The itches stop, everything kind of, all the symptoms subside.
So can you give us some examples of maybe a couple of the ingredients that can help with these issues around the gut?
Yeah, so L-glutamine, as I mentioned, is probably the best thing to be putting into a gut. I've seen that heal gastroenteritis or hemogeric gastroenteritis within a day. Things like marshmallow root, SB, putting the probiotics back in. Slippery elm is another good one. I also put a little bit of milk thistle just to kind of detox as well, just kind of clear out the toxins that may be sitting in there as well. Yeah, and then with the detox, I use chlorella for a binder. There's a lot of different things in there as well, but also I use a couple of different things that actually kill yeast. So some antifungals, some things like that really work well.
Excellent. And the other really important part to go with that I think a lot of pet owners would not necessarily know, when you've got these toxins entering the dog's system, that are not only upsetting the gut, the other problem is, even though they're passing these things through the gut, there are still traces that remain, and that tends to compound over time. And if it gets to such a point, then you can be looking at issues with the liver and possibly the kidneys, because their poor little body is working overtime to try and rid itself of all of these toxins, but it can't keep up, essentially. If you're feeding a high processed diet, if you're not supporting the gut, chemicals that you might be using around the home, chemicals or not so friendly ingredients in any topical products that you're using, it's all ending up inside the body. And that's another potential consequence health-wise.
Yeah, I make a detox which is separate to the yeast detox for exactly that reason, especially for dogs that have been on antibiotics and different kind of medications. It's also good to clear out the liver as well. They say if you've got a healthy liver, you actually won't have any health issues. So we know that detoxing is so important, especially for these guys, which is so exposed to so many different things all the time.
Absolutely. And it's not just things that they're eating. I mean, people don't realise the skin is the body's largest organ for them and for us.
Yeah.
So even though it might not instantly be inside the body, something that's even they've come into contact with through their pores or through their skin, it's going to be absorbed inside the body and wind up in the bloodstream.
Exactly.
And it's just one of those things that I don't think there's a huge amount of awareness about so far.
No.
Yeah, absolutely true. If you can look after the liver and keep the liver really strong and really healthy, well, then it's doing its job. It's removing all of the toxins in the body, all of the things that shouldn't be there. So you've got a healthy dog.
Yeah, it's like doing something like that every 6 months, I think, is a really good idea. Even if your dog hasn't been exposed to anything that you know of, the environmental exposure to things is always going to be there for them and us.
Yeah.
So it's a good way of just keeping on top of things as well.
Absolutely, and especially, as you mentioned, for any dog that's been on antibiotics or any sort of medication, really supporting the liver just to help it metabolize things so that you haven't got remnants of these toxins hanging around in the body. It's just so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, flea treatment was found in the cerebral fluid of children because they've patted their dog after they've had the flea treatment on the back of their necks. If you touch it, it's absorbed into you for 30 days, basically, whether you wash it off or not.
People don't realise how easy it is.
And look, it's weed killer. So, like, if you go to Bunnings and look at weed killer, you're going to see the same ingredients.
Yeah, it's highly toxic stuff, and it's the same with even looking at things like medicated shampoos, Malaseb and those sorts of things. It's a risk to you. It's a risk to the kids if they touch the dog when it's just been treated. And it's an absolute health risk to the poor dog because it's absorbing this chemical cocktail through its skin that winds up in the bloodstream. It's horrible stuff. But people just don't realise.
No, they don't.
So one of the other things that we were talking about off camera that was really, really interesting was about trying to talk to pet owners more about just being aware of their energy, of their moods, of their headspace when they're dealing with their dog. I mean, they're like toddlers. They're little sponges. They so absorb everything. So whatever it is that you might be feeling at a particular time, or if there's a lot of stress in the household, your dog could be taking that on, and that could be causing problems. That's something you've seen a little bit in your consults, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And if we think of ourselves as energetic beings, we're transmitting, and we've got energy, our energy systems are working at all times. So anytime I see an anxious dog, I have to speak to the owner about whether they have anxiety or what's going on for them, what's going on for them in the house, what the dog's exposed to, like energetically, because that is a major part of what I see. I see some people will, limp into a consult with a bad knee, and they'll come in and say, "Oh, my dog's done a cruciate ligament." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay. Can you see the link here?" and,
Mm.
and 9 times out of 10, don't. But when you say it, they're like, "Oh my God." And they actually can see that there's definitely a spiritual connection between us and our dogs. They're our earth angels. Like, they come to us with purpose. And as I say to everyone, you've got this big world around you, but you are their world. You are their purpose. And so they take what they can from you, whether it's anxiety, whether it's pain, whether it's, I even believe, like cancer. I think energetically they can take things from us. And I think learning that, and they'll do that no matter what. It's not something that you're giving them. That's their job as what they do for you. But working out things that actually release that for them. So I'll always ask what their happy place is. Like, where is it? What is it makes them just so happy? And they'll be, it's the beach, or it's the water, or it's running and chasing birds, or something like that. And then I have to incorporate that in, saying, well, that's the stuff we've got to do, because that's where they're going to release all this energy, and that's what's going to keep them healthy as well. So yeah, definitely the energetic bond between people, owner and dog, is quite incredible, really.
Absolutely. Taking on those emotions or absorbing the stress in their home environment can actually manifest itself in
Manifest.
physical illness. For
Yes.
example, if
Yeah.
there's a lot of stress in the home environment, how that they can end up even with gut issues just because of the
Gut
tension in the
issues are the
home.
biggest.
Yeah, I know from myself. Whenever I would get stressed, even as a little kid, I would end up with a sick tummy.
Me too.
And
Yep.
I think at times, I mean, especially if you've got a dog that is a little bit more anxious, I think that can be quite unsettling and even contribute to the problem as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Gut issues are definitely caused by stress, whether it be like from their owners or just the environment that they're in.
Or at
But
least a contributor. I mean, there might be something physical going on as well, but if there's stress in the environment as well, it's absolutely gonna exacerbate the situation.
yeah, yeah. And an anxious dog will always have gut issues when they come in. That's it, just goes
Yeah,
hand in hand. Yeah.
yeah.
And if we think of the gut as the second brain, it makes perfect sense that the two are connected.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to a dog trainer recently who really focuses a lot on diet. Not a nutritionist or a naturopath, a trainer. And people were always sort of surprised and wondering why he was asking questions about diet, just because, I mean, with any dog, whether anxiety is an issue or not, there can be such a close relationship between what you're feeding, what you're putting into them, and even their behaviour, their ability to focus, their ability to concentrate and to take commands, their ability to be open to communication. I don't think people quite realise how strong that relationship is.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about children as well these days, like there's a lot of ADHD out there and a lot of different mental health concerns. And what are these kids eating? There's definitely a direct link. Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, you take a young child who's just had McDonald's or had red cordial or had lollies. They're on a sugar high and they're climbing the walls. It's
exactly.
the same with your pets. It's the same with the dog.
Yeah,
If you feed them, highly processed foods, you're
that's
going
what
to
kibble
see
is.
yeah, you're going to see a difference in
The
their behaviour.
carbohydrate. That's exactly it. So the kibble is carbohydrates, which turns into sugars, and they have these highs, they have these big peaks, and then they have these big come downs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which can also lead to things like moodiness, difficulty concentrating, all of those sorts of things. my dogs don't have any particular behavioural issues, but I noticed even years ago when I first transitioned them to raw, they were quieter, they were more settled, and they listened better.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, they're
because the diet was
satisfied because
clean.
and they're getting the nutrients that their body needs.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they
Yeah.
weren't particularly acting out or particularly naughty. They were pretty good. The occasional case of selective hearing, nothing major, but and I wasn't expecting it. That was a nice side effect of transitioning them to raw that I hadn't even expected. They just seemed calmer and more settled and more like, yeah, cool, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, their bodies are satisfied with the nutrients they're getting. They don't have to kind of act out or reach out to try and get what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing a lot of people will comment on is how happy their dogs get at food time. So they've
Oh my
always
God,
eaten
yeah.
food and they've kibble, but now, they're jumping on the bench, wanting the food, or they're doing the food dance, or
Mhm.
they just light up at food time. And like that for me is really exciting. And it's a beautiful thing that they get to be excited about having their bodies.
They think it's Christmas every day.
They do, yeah. And that's the thing. Nutrition isn't just about putting food in their mouth. There's so many different aspects to it. We have to nourish their mind, body, and spirit. And when we're doing that, that's when we have healthy dogs. And that's that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, if you could leave our listeners and our viewers with a piece of advice, what's something that you really want more pet parents to know or to think about?
Yeah. I think the takeaway would have to be that there is a spiritual connection between you and your dog. And when you understand that and you are connected to your dog, their communication just becomes available. You actually can understand, you can read your dog, and they can do the same as well. And I think when we think about nutrition, thinking about it as a whole, not just, as I said, putting the food in their mouth, but making sure that they are spiritually taken care of, which means, giving them love. All dogs need is food and love, and a little bit of exercise. But yeah, making sure that we're taking care and nurturing their mind, body, and spirit. And also that we have the opportunity to heal and help them and nourish them in every bowl of food that we give them. So when we think like that and you're trying to create a food bowl, and what we're trying to do is basically recreate a body in the bowl, when we think about it that way, holistically, we get to really play a major role in the longevity of our dogs. So the control is actually in our hands. I think that's probably the biggest thing. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to support people and kind of guide them so that they feel like they can do it without worrying, because a lot of people are worried about raw feeding and not doing it right. But that's what we're here for. And the benefits are they're quite incredible, to be honest.
Absolutely. And the range in store makes it so easy. If you want to do things yourself, you can pick and choose your proteins and your components. If you're time poor like
Yeah,
me, you can buy something that's completely balanced, that has the fruit and the veggies and the extras in it with the
exactly.
protein that you're after, and you literally just pick it up and take it home. You can serve it raw. You can lightly cook it if that agrees with your dog more. Um, and 7 locations
Yeah.
around Victoria makes it
That,
even
that's
easier.
what's so that's what's so exciting about the pet food shops is that, and that's why I align so well with them, is because they're there to help. So that everyone in there can help you if you do have questions, but the variety, like you can, the proteins are amazing. There's so many different kinds of proteins, so many different kinds of bones. If your dog can't eat, beef bones, there's kangaroo bones, there's duck bones, there's chicken bones. We've got the softer stuff if you need it. So there's just a massive array to choose from, and that's what's so exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, I went past the Ballarat store last week because I was in the area, and I'd like to pick up a few extra goodies while I'm there to pop in the freezer. They had goat mince, they had rabbit, they
Yeah,
had all manner of things that you just cannot get anywhere where I live. The baby's got duck wings. They've never had a duck wing in their life. They nearly went crazy. Even fresh snap frozen sardines. Most dogs never get
yeah,
sardines unless they're in a tin, which is fine if you're avoiding the oils and you're going for something in spring water, that's fine. But to be able to get them fresh, You can just see by
Yeah.
the look on their little faces and the eyeballs popping, you know.
Yeah.
It's such a sensory experience for them. They've never had fresh sardines in their life, and they couldn't get them down fast enough.
Yeah, that's why I love
It's
the
easy
pet
to
food
do, and
shopping.
it's not expensive, you know.
Exactly, yeah. And my blends that I make, I've got the opportunity with these guys to do goat. There's a goat blend, there's a venison blend, there's a roux blend, and a beef blend. So, like, the variety is there. If you have skin issues, then goat is a great option. We've really tried to tailor it so that we can help absolutely everybody.
Yeah, oh, it's absolutely fantastic having that variety. I mean, not only is it good just to get it in rotation, so they're getting a variety of proteins and all the different nutrients. Having that flexibility there. I mean, I feed my guys a base of chicken because my boy's got a sensitive tum, chronic anxiety. But then what I do is every couple of days I will add something else in there. So it might be roux on this day, it might be a venison bone, it might be a bit of duck. I've worked out now over time how much variety I can give him without upsetting his tummy. And then we just have a day in between where we just stick to what he knows: chicken, turkey, fish, you know, to give his tummy a little bit of a break. But they're loving it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they love the variety, and that's key to raw feeding is, you can balance over time, unless it's a puppy, but as an adult you can balance over time and give them that variety. So it's it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been so lovely chatting with you, and we need to get you back because there's so much more we can talk about.
There is, yes. No, thank you for having me.
Anytime, anytime. Let's see that squishy again. Are they down at your feet?
Yes, they are. Let me grab one.
Do you have a lot to say, darling? Look at you. Is that the little boy or the little girl?
This is the boy.
The face on him. My man, you are the George Clooney of puppies. Yes, you are. I'm going to call you George Clooney. Yes, I am. You is so handsome. Honey, honey, you're not happy? He's
No, because
beautiful.
when I'm awake, it's food time.
Yeah, of course. I'm sleeping, pooping, or it's
Yeah,
time to eat.
exactly.
Oh. Thank you for saying hello, Sebastian. It was very nice to meet you, buddy. Oh, you're going to snuggle with Grandma now? Okay. You don't want my milk. Here's my milk.
He's still sniffing.
He's making me puppy sick. He really is.